Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Northwest Focus webinar. We are delighted to have you here with us today. The Northwest has been making the headlines with a series of exciting new developments which seek to build on the region's success. The Northwest is now regarded as a growing centre for areas such as health and life sciences, business, professional, financial services, and software development. Add that to the potential of the 250 million city deal and inclusive future fund launched in February this year, the expansion of University of Ulster's Magee campus, and Derry's plan to harness data and digital technology to become a smart city, and there is plenty to get excited about. We're lucky to have four fantastic speakers who can tell us more about all of these initiatives and what they might mean for the city and the wider region. In this session, we'll hear from Claire Scott McAteer from University of Ulster, Alfie Dallas from Derry and Strabane District Council, and Jason McIntosh from Seagate Technologies. But to kick things off and to give an overview of developments in the Northwest, I am delighted to welcome Dawn McLaughlin, who will be known to many members and who is representing our profession to the great effect as the current president of the Londonderry Chamber of Commerce. Dawn, you are very welcome.
Thank you, Maeve, and good afternoon to you all. Today, as you said, I will set the scene in terms of the Northwest, and I'll also tell you a little bit about Chamber as well and how we operate. And then I'll hand over to my colleagues, Claire, Jason and Alfie, who will provide more detail on the exciting projects that are underway at the minute, so and not steal their thunder. But for me, amazing things are happening here in the Northwest, and I suppose as an optimist, I believe we are on the cusp of something really great. Our history was that of an area of severe deprivation, high levels of unemployment, economic inactivity, and little to no connectivity. And as a local Chamber of Commerce, we have been at the heart of the change down through the years, and we've forged strong links with our strategic partners and have been lobbying government to fight for our region and provide the change that our businesses needed to build successful businesses, provide employment, and contribute to the Northern Ireland economy. Our strategic partners, when considering the growth plan, looked at an area stretching from Strabane through the city and right down into Donegal, and this is now known as the Northwest City region. And you know, when we look at inward investment, we have a stronger case when we talk about 350,000 citizens, 4 technical colleges, a university, and 2 major hospitals with cross-border services as well. Our leading educational institutions provide the skills and training our economy needs for the future. Our connectivity and infrastructure to other important economic hubs across the island and further afield are improving all the time. Still not there yet, but we're nearly there. And we have a low cost of living, but a really high quality of life here in the Northwest. We also have a very vibrant and diverse tourism and hospitality offering here in the Northwest, and I'm sure many of you have availed of that over the years as well, especially maybe around Halloween. Recent FDI and job creation announcements proves the potential that the Northwest has, while the rollout of Derry and Strabane City Deal will cement our emerging position as leading global location for sectors such as tech, fintech, health and life sciences, diagnostics, AI, and robotics as well. While the pandemic has been tough for businesses of all shapes and sizes, there really is a growing sense of optimism, and the recent decision by Almac to set up a base year was a real boost and a testament to our growing reputation for the emerging technologies, as well as recognizing the skills base which already exists here in the Northwest. We have a forward-thinking modern economy with strong local leadership, which is brilliant. There is no doubting that Brexit has been a real challenge for the Northwest businesses over the past 5 years, affecting consumer and investor confidence, and especially given our position as a border region as well. However, anecdotally, and according to a recent Chamber survey, our members are actually experiencing no serious issues over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Many have been pragmatic and flexible where possible and are keen to make the most of the new arrangements. Indeed, a recent survey found that 80% of responders wanted the executive to start fully maximizing the benefit of the protocol. What we need is political stability and certainty. It is required so the trading arrangements can go ahead, and it really is up to our elected representatives to ensure that this happens going forward. I suppose maybe if I could tell you a little bit about Chamber now as well. As president of our local chamber, I have been honoured to support our members through these really difficult times. Our mission at Chamber is helping your business succeed in a successful Northwest. And sometimes that's not easy to say. With Brexit and COVID, we have had pretty hectic and disruptive few years just past. And like everyone else, we've had to change and reimagine our services. Having previously provided a very interactive networking offering to our members, COVID left us with no option but to have to change. We went digital, we stepped up our support, and we provided our members with regular updates. We guided them through the lockdown, through the local restrictions, HR issues, and financial supports available as well. We had to make Chamber the go-to business organisation. And where we initially feared that we would lose members because of closures and because of members' cash flow issues, we've actually increased demand for membership during the past 15 months, which is brilliant. As you can see from the slides, our activities cover 6 key areas. We are a strong voice for the Northwest business with regard to our lobbying and our advocacy. Our professional development provides members with skills and training to succeed. Our business-to-business marketing connects members with over 350 other Northwest businesses. It makes the most of sponsorship opportunities, and it reaches over 12,000 users across the social media platform. Our Connected magazine is the only business magazine in the Northwest, and we have an estimated readership of 20,000, which is brilliant. Business advice and guidance provides support to our members to help them grow, expand, and succeed in a successful region. And our events calendar is quite large, with over 40 online and in-person events every year, where our members can learn, connect, network, and influence. During this year, we made some very exciting changes in Chamber. We launched our learning platform, which is a first for Chamber as far as I'm aware. This is a digital offering where employers are provided with a suite of training modules to assist their compliance requirements. Their staff have the flexibility to progress at their pace, and progress can be monitored by the employer through the company dashboard. Compliance topics such as health and safety, fire safety, manual handling are all some of the modules available. And then we have all the personal development modules as well. Another thing we did was to split our members into sector-specific clusters so that we could add value to them, empower the members within each of the clusters, encourage knowledge transfer, and help develop collaboration and alliances amongst the group. We see that this will bring benefit to us all by adding value to the members, and also by providing Chamber with valuable, timely information to help us fight the good fight when we're lobbying. We also came together with key partners quite recently, InvestNI, Intertrade Ireland, our council, and Enterprise Northwest, with a new exporting initiative under the banner of Growth Northwest to stimulate and advance the opportunities for exporting of our members. We just started the first of a series of exporting webinars, which is going to run now over the next 6 months. And we've also carried out a mapping exercise of available support in the area for those businesses interested in exporting, because there's a whole raft of support and it's very hard to keep up with it all. We will be engaging with accountants and other agents later this year to update them on what's available so that you too can add value to your clients. I suppose whilst down the year we networked with our Letterkenny neighbours, we formalised the arrangement this year as well. And we've also reached out to Strabane to support their businesses as they no longer have a functioning chamber. At Chamber, we have a great team and we have an experienced board who give their time and their expertise to benefit our members and to benefit the Northwest City region. So if anybody's interested in Chamber, if you want to know about any of the topics or the events that we're running, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you. So with that, I will hand you over to Claire to talk about Magee.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. I'll just share my screen here now. Hello, everyone, and I'd just like to start by thanking Chartered Accountants Ireland and indeed Dawn as the president of our chamber for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today here about the Ulster University and its expansion of the Magee campus. I'm going to split the talk down into two sections. I'm going to start by talking about the expansion within the Ulster University Business School itself, as that's the school within which I work. And then I'll move on to talk more broadly about the innovation projects that are being led by Ulster University Magee in line with the city deal. So first of all, just starting off by looking at what's happening, what expansion plans have we got within the Ulster University Business School at Magee. And I suppose I'm starting off with plans that are progressing in terms of the establishment of an International Trade and Enterprise Centre, which will be ITEC for short. Now, this will be the first centre of excellence of its kind on the island of Ireland, and it will be aimed at promoting teaching and training excellence and impactful research in the areas of international business and international trade, customs and border management. And in terms of the educational front, there will be educational partners involved in terms of Northern Ireland Customs and Trade Association and also the Institute of Exporters and International Trade. It's hoped that the centre will also provide a catalyst for the creation of an enterprise hub in the Northwest on the Magee campus. This enterprise hub will drive consultancy and industry collaboration for the region in the form of innovation vouchers, KTPs, fusion projects and short courses. The Centre of Excellence will also have links with Babson College in Boston. So in line with the development of ITEC, we have a number of new course developments that are happening on the Magee campus within the business school. And I just want to mention a few of these to you now. In terms of undergrad provision, we've got a new BSc Honours International Business coming on board in September 2021, and that's closely aligned to the ITEC vision of the Centre of Excellence. We also have a new BSc Honours in Marketing coming on board in September 2021. In terms of accounting provision on the Magee campus, for a number of years now, we've had the Accounting with Specialisms degree. However, we've updated the specialism choices now to not only include taxation and management, but also the whole area of analytics, as we see analytics as a growing area within the accounting profession. Also hot off the press, we've got just validated last Friday for starting in September 2021 as well. We've got the new MSc International Accounting with Analytics starting on the Magee campus. This is, I suppose, a course that I've been pioneering myself for a number of years. And this master's programme will enable students to take their Chartered Accountant Ireland studies right to CAP 2 exemption level, as well as studying analytics in terms of business analysis and visualisation tools such as Power BI. We also have identified the need for a graduate certificate to make sure that our undergraduates that are coming out of programmes within the school have an articulation route to the MSc. This graduate certificate in finance and taxation is starting tomorrow, the 1st of July, and it is really plugging the gap that we have for some students in terms of CAP 1 exemptions, that's Chartered Accountants Ireland CAP 1 exemptions for finance and taxation. So a lot of new courses, a lot of new innovations happening here in the Northwest at the Ulster University Business School Magee. Then finally, I just want to, I suppose, reiterate a message that our wonderful head of department, Dr. Sandra Moffat, has been given out through the chamber in various routes, and that is that the Ulster University Business School at Magee is open for business. We're keen to make links and pathways across the Northwest with the business community. So I would urge that if any of you that are listening to this presentation today would like to strengthen your relationship with us in the Business School at Magee, please just make contact, because we're hopeful that together we can mould and create resilient, creative future leaders that the business community here in the Northwest needs. And that's best going to be carried out through collaboration with yourselves and all their educational providers in the region. That really brings to an end, I suppose, part one in terms of updates on expansion within the business school. So now I just want to move to talk more about Ulster University as a key partner in the city deal alongside the Derry City Strabane District Council and indeed the Northern Ireland Executive. So you can see on this slide, we've got a number of acronyms as well as details of the name of the School of Medicine. So over the next number of slides, I would just like to give you a bit more detail on these 4 key innovation projects that Ulster University is leading as part of the city deal. So we've got CARL, CEDRA, Thrive, and the School of Medicine. So I'm just going to talk about these now in a bit more detail one by one. So firstly, starting off with CARL. So CARL stands for Cognitive Analytics Research Lab. And the cognitive analytics is not a new thing on the Magee campus. I suppose the aim of CARL is for Ulster University Magee to become the global leader in artificial intelligence. And the expertise in this lab has been really built up over the last 20 years and is obviously hopeful to be expanded upon. The lab creates robots, devices, networks, which help people live more independently and also help with the diagnosis and the treatment of diseases. There's cutting-edge research happening across all sectors within the lab, and then the researchers also are looking to work with local entrepreneurs in terms of developing their business ideas into new startup enterprises, as well as creating spin-outs or further creation of spin-outs out of the Ulster University Business School at Magee. Moving on now to look at CEDRA. CEDRA stands for Centre for Industrial Digitalisation, Robotics and Automation. And the aim of this support facility is to provide support for local and international industry. And this support facility is home to highly specialist robotics equipment, an ideas factory, a place for R&D to happen, a demonstration place. And the centre will partner with local businesses to make sure that their workforce are ready for the fourth industrial revolution that's already essentially here. And then we've got Thrive. Thrive stands for Transformation for Healthcare Research Innovation and Value Added Ecosystem. So Thrive is a lot less of a mouthful. So in terms of Thrive, it's all about embedding world-class research in the heart of the community. And a key research focus of Thrive is the whole area of personalised medicine. And personalised medicine is really about finding the right treatment for the right person at the right time. And Thrive not only will develop a research institute, but it also will create a new healthcare quarter on the Strand Road. It will expand CTRIC at Altnagelvin and provide outreach facilities in Strabane and in Fort George here in the city. And then finally to the game changer that is the new medical school. I'm pleased to, I suppose, announce that there are 70 new students coming to the new medical school. They're due to arrive on the 23rd of August of this year. That number of 70 for the first cohort is due to increase over the next 5 years up to 120 students. So this is a graduate medical program. So it's really students that already have an undergraduate degree that can come and train for 4 years in an intensive practical medical education to get their Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. So this really is the game changer for the region, as I said already, hoping to attract graduates that will not only study, but then will work and live within the Northwest. So I suppose, Alfie, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder with this slide, but as a chartered accountant myself, I feel the need to get some figures and some numbers into the presentation. And I suppose just in summing up, what is the 250 million in terms of the city deal and the Inclusive Future Fund hoping to achieve? Well, I suppose in terms of employment growth, it's hoped that the rate of employment will triple. The expected rate of employment will triple, and that will equate to 7,000 new jobs, additional jobs by 2032. In terms of population growth, it should at least double. And then finally, in terms of the regional's gross value added, the GVA, it's expected that it would increase by 230 million per annum by 2030. And on that positive note, that brings to an end my presentation about Ulster University Magee campus and its expansion plans. So I'll now hand over to Jason from Seagate.
Thanks, Claire. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to echo Claire's comments and thank both the Ulster Society and Dawn for giving us the opportunity to discuss what's happening in the Northwest as we look towards the future. My name is Jason McIntosh, and I am Finance Manager for Seagate in the EMEA accounting team. And I look after the accounting function for the UK, Ireland, and a number of our other EMEA countries in which we have a presence. It's been great so far to hear from Dawn and Claire about the exciting developments in the Northwest. I know that Dawn and the Chamber do excellent work in the region, representing all sorts of businesses. And as Claire has just outlined, Ulster University is key to the future growth of the region as well. Just quickly, first of all, from a Seagate perspective, so we've been based in Springtown in the city for over 27 years now. And during that time, we have invested a significant sum in our wafer factory, with over $1.5 billion spent on capital alone, and a further $1.5 billion spent on wages and salaries during that time. We now employ over 1,600 people in the Northwest, and we're very proud of the role that we have played and will continue to play in the region as we continue to invest here. Some of the most important research and development for our group is carried out by our teams in Springtown, and the level of innovation involved is, to be honest, quite frankly, more than my numbers-focused brain as an accountant can cope with. So I want to briefly talk about smart cities with you today, and in particular an initiative that we set up a couple of years ago now, and have been developing along with some of our other key partners in the city, which is the Smart Volunteer Network. And this sits within wider plans to harness data within the city and become a smart city. And both Council and Ulster University will be heavily involved in that. And Seagate is looking forward to playing a key role in these plans as well, through our data solutions, but also playing a key role within the local community. So hopefully some of you, or all of you maybe, will be aware of the concept of a smart city, but we've kept our definition that we use with our volunteers and our students brief. A smart city is one which uses data and technology to improve the lives of people who live in, work in, and visit the city. The city deal that I know Alfie is going to come on to talk about shortly is a significant catalyst for the region's smart city ambitions. I don't want to steal Alfie's thunder, and I'm the second one that's hoping that we're not stealing Alfie's thunder, but this extract from the city deal website itself talks about the vision to position the city and district at the leading edge of urban innovation, using smart technologies to improve the delivery of public services for citizens and businesses. The Smart City project will see the use of state-of-the-art technologies and data to bring about positive changes and efficiencies in citizens' lives through a range of smart technologies, which is, for me anyway, pretty exciting. So our discussions about the potential for the Derry and Strabane Council area becoming a smart city from a Seagate perspective began in April 2019 when we hosted or we developed and ran the Foyle Smart City Conference, which was hosted by the University of Ulster at their fantastic Magee campus and was attended by over 150 people. So this conference had 12 speakers from across business, education, and the community, and explored themes such as education for a smart world and transforming the future through technology. We were delighted to have the CEO of Seagate, Dave Mosley, the then president of NI Chamber, and also the UK Young Scientist of the Year, which was Maeve Stillman from St Mary's College, to speak. The key takeaways from this conference were that a smart city must grow from the bottom up, as you can see in the slide there, and a strong sense of community is key to the success of a smart city. And a common theme was how important it was to engage young people in the concept. And I do have to say that actually the best speaker on the day was Maeve Stillman, who was 16 at the time, which was pretty incredible. Coming out of the conference, we established the Smart Volunteer Network. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that means in a minute. We developed a unique training program for these volunteers, and they then helped us in the curation and rollout of smart city education programs in both summer schemes and a number of secondary level schools in the city. Through these programs, we reached over 1,000 young people, and that number is continuing to grow all the time. We also hosted a Smart Volunteer Celebration showcase in the Guildhall in October 2019, which being pre-COVID feels like an awful long time ago now. At this, we ran a workshop for 6 sets of Year 13 students, as well as being joined by the Mayor to present certificates to our first 100 volunteers. I was also delighted to have been asked to speak at the All-Ireland Smart Cities Forum in late 2019 about our smart volunteer plans. There's a lot of excitement about that from across the island, actually. Our education program is going to be further rolled out in the next academic year, now that students are hopefully back in the classroom full time, although touch wood on that front. As I mentioned at the bottom of the slide, our goal in this education program is to change mindsets around data, starting with young people. So our vision coming out of the original conference was therefore a network of smart volunteers who are driven to make this region a healthier, happier, and more prosperous place to live, work, and visit. So to date, we have over 150 people signed up to be a smart volunteer, and we have plans to grow this a lot further. We've sort of been treading water for a little while through COVID. Particularly when the challenges of COVID are hopefully behind us, we can get face to face again and continue to grow that number. So what does a smart volunteer actually mean? I've just got a slide on this here. Our ambition is that smart city volunteers will promote the benefits of using data and work with communities to raise awareness of what a smart city is and what a smart city could be. We perhaps unsurprisingly found that there were plenty of people who remained skeptical about using data, particularly when it comes to privacy concerns and so on, and that's very understandable. We therefore want to show that data used correctly can be an incredibly powerful tool for any city, and in particular this city. We want to show how data can help solve real life problems and work together to find and create technology solutions which bring value and benefit. We aim to promote cultural and behavioural change in relation to data and technology. So our overall aim is that this volunteer network becomes a resource for the whole city and can be involved in the development and rollout of technology solutions in years to come. And the plan is that this volunteer network doesn't sit within Seagate or sit within an individual entity, but it belongs to the city effectively. So on the next slide here, we've got 4 main strands as to what a smart volunteer can do. All of our volunteers can be, and indeed are, ambassadors for the idea of a smart city, and will promote the benefits of smart cities in our communities. A key component to our overall plan is education and mentoring, and a significant number of our volunteers have worked with our young people, either in schools or summer schemes, rolling out our data awareness and data in action workshops. I have to pay tribute actually to local schools and a couple in particular who I'll maybe not name, who have been incredibly engaged in this idea and who have used modules within their curriculum to explore this theme with their students, and the students were incredibly engaged in that theme as well. The final 2 strands to a smart volunteer's potential work are identifying opportunities for data solutions and applying smart technology. So that's maybe for the more data or technology minded amongst us. As I mentioned previously, growing smart city initiatives from the ground up is key, and therefore we expect that working with communities to identify real life problems that they face and then thinking about how technology can help solve those problems is in the long run far more likely to be successful than simply taking initiatives that work elsewhere in the world and imposing them on communities. So the idea through these 4 strands is that anybody really can be a volunteer and be a smart volunteer and promote the benefits of smart cities. You don't need to be somebody that's working in data and technology, and I think that's why it has been so successful so far. So what's coming next? Just in terms of our future plans for the volunteer network, and by extension the wider smart city plans, linking in with the other stakeholders, we're looking forward to refocusing on growing and developing the volunteer network and continuing to reach out to communities to talk about data and technology. We've plans for initiatives like design thinking workshops, speaker series, further training, rolling out our education program in all local schools, and supporting skills modules within the school curriculum by using the theme of data and smart cities. We also continue to engage with established and up-and-coming companies in this area. For example, Civic Dollars, which was founded by Stephen McPeak, and I saw recently launched with great success in Belfast. Some of you might have seen the press coverage for that recently. Stephen's been a great supporter of the volunteer network and is one of those companies that we really look forward to working with going forward. So just to summarize on the theme of smart cities, Partnership across the city region is key, and I think that's true of all things, not just smart cities. It's important that along with our volunteer network, stakeholders like the council, university and local business continue to collaborate and work together in this area. And as I mentioned earlier, consulting and involving communities will help to drive the success of any smart city initiative, in particular in considering what the actual problems that communities face are and how data can help in making this a real community solution thing. The theme running through all of this is that engaging with young people is key. And I have to say I've been amazed by the level of enthusiasm amongst our young people, as well as their ambition for the future of this region. And I think that's always been the case. You know, we've always had incredibly engaged, enthusiastic young people in this region. We've been very lucky in that regard. From a Seagate perspective, I know we continue to have exciting plans in the city, and our Springtown site will continue to play a vital role in our global supply chain. I'm particularly looking forward to bringing in 2 new chartered accountants in August, so I'm looking forward to them joining us and sharing the workload, I suppose. The final thing I wanted to say, which links back to Dawn and Claire and hopefully on to Alfie, is that this city region has an enormous amount of potential over the coming years. There's significant investment being made, and Claire touched on it, and Alfie, I assume we'll touch on it now, whether that be through city deal funds or through investment by new or existing companies. So it's so important that as a region we capitalise on that, and all the stakeholders work together to drive the region forward. As I said already, the talent and offer in this region is incredible, and the more we're able to develop our young people, and more importantly actually to keep them here and making sure that it's a place that they want to live in, the better. But personally, I'm certainly very excited for the future of the Northwest over the coming years. So that's all I have at the minute. So Alfie, I'm going to stop sharing and hand over to you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the opportunity to update you all on our very exciting city deal proposals. My name is Alfie Dallas. I'm Lead Finance Officer in Council and have been closely involved in the whole city deal journey that we've had over the past 5 years. But thankfully in February this year, that culminated in a massively significant event with the signing of heads of terms. So on 24th of February this year, after 5 years, we signed our heads of terms that's basically a legal agreement with the UK government, the Northern Ireland government and our local stakeholders. And basically that secures $250 million of capital investment for the city region. And I think that figure, even saying it, is astronomical, and it's going to have a massive impact. So 105 million of that investment will come from the UK government, and that investment will be geared towards innovation, digital and health projects, and 105 million will come from the Northern Ireland Executive towards tourism, infrastructure and regeneration projects. And the project partners, that's Council and the University and Western Health and Social Care Trust, will bring 40 million in match funding, making up our overall 250 million package. So how will that be spent? So effectively we have 2 investment pillars. We have innovation, digital and health, where there will be 100 million spent, and there is 150 million going to our regeneration, tourism and renewal pillar. So in relation to innovation, digital and health, Claire has covered the 4 projects there backgrounded green, Carl, Cedra, Thrive and the School of Medicine. So there's a total investment there of 90 million. Very exciting projects. And alongside that, we'll be investing a further 10 million in digital infrastructure and smart cities investment. So I know we've covered a good bit about that. What I'm going to try and cover in this presentation is how those link into our regeneration proposals, which sit very closely alongside that. So in terms of the 150 million, 80 million of that will be spent in Strabane Town Centre, and 70 million will be spent in Derry across three areas: Central Riverfront, also then taking some of the investment across the Peace Bridge into Ebrington, and also investing in our key tourism asset here in the city, our walled city. So I know Claire has covered in a fair bit of detail the innovation projects, but I suppose from a city perspective, those projects, NIGEMS, Thrive, Cedra and Carl, and I suppose also along with the recent announcement by the university for the relocation of allied health sciences, that will basically increase our student numbers in the city over the next few years from 4,000 to 5,500 students. And that added to the very high value innovation jobs that will go alongside that is a really significant development for us. I suppose what we're trying to do in regeneration currently, our university is, I suppose, away from the riverfront and away from the city centre. And I suppose the council office site here in the city, for anybody that knows it, sits right in front of it. So what we're trying to do with the City Deal investment is bring those new students and new innovation jobs right onto our riverfront with a new university frontage along the riverfront. And that aligns very closely with our regeneration plans. Obviously, bringing that number of students, onto our riverfront on a daily basis can have massive catalytic impact for the city centre. So you can see a couple of initial drawings there of what we envisage that will look like, and that will obviously develop as we go through the outline business case process. So that's very closely aligned with the central riverfront investment that we're going to be taken forward. So you can see on the screen there at the minute, you can see the university to the left-hand side. And basically alongside that, what we want to do is create a world-class riverfront where people want to come and live and visit and study and invest in. And that'll be all focused on creating high-quality public realm, removing car parks, remodeling road infrastructure, really all about encouraging high-level jobs onto those, I suppose, derelict sites along our riverfront, and also that would culminate in new council office investment, bringing footfall into our city centre on a daily basis. And you can see from some of the pictures there, there's a lot of best practice in this throughout Europe and other cities, and we'll be trying to take as much of that on board as possible as we finalise our plans through the business case process. So just to touch on the other two elements of the Derry City Deal investment. So I touched on, we want to bring investment into the Ebrington site. That's a major former military barracks site where there's been massive regeneration over the last few years through grade A office accommodation, new hotel development, implement public realm investment, and we aim to add to that with the City Deal through a new DNA maritime visitor experience. And on the other side of that, you'll see the walled city, which is our I suppose, our major tourism asset in the city. Obviously, the last year has been very sore in city centres with the COVID pandemic. So we're aiming to put in tourism and environmental improvement investment there to basically aid our recovery from the pandemic. So that's the Derry Central Riverfront proposal. So when you take that along with the 90 million of university investment, that's effectively 160 million will be invested along our riverfront, and it's really, really exciting. So moving on, equally as important, Strabane, 80 million will be invested there. You can see the picture there where we have a major derelict site right in the middle of Strabane, large car park, derelict buildings, and the City Deal basically aims to transform that site. And really through a co-location of critical public services, we aim to have a new leisure centre, relocate the Northwest Regional College campus there, a new health hub, along with public realm, pedestrian bridge, business incubation units, totally transforming that site. And I think anybody that's from that area will know that's massively needed, and it's a massive bonus of the City Deal investment. So obviously we'll be developing the concept drawings as they sit are on the screen, so you can see all those the initiatives that I spoke about. But we'll be very focused on climate change and sustainable transport and public transport there, and really maximising the use of that site and bringing footfall into Strabane town centre. So again, a very, very exciting investment for Strabane. So I suppose just to close off the last couple of slides, this is all about creating GVA and jobs and employment for our city region. And the graph there shows that we've had modelling carried out with the University of Ulster Economic Policy Centre. So basically the City Deal projects will result in an additional 210 million GVA per annum. That's an increase of 6.2%, obviously very significant, and also an additional 126 million in wages per annum. Again, a very significant statistic by the time all the projects are delivered. Similarly with employment, while we started off in 2015 in the new councils with, a lot of very challenging indicators in terms of unemployment and economic and activity. And that has improved, but the city deal will basically turbocharge that by creating a further 7,000 jobs, and that's an increase of 9%. And a lot of those jobs will be filled with residents, 70%, with the remaining 30% by commuters. So again, massive progress being made in the region. I'll just finish off by saying the city deal is only one element of what we're trying to do in the Northwest. We set out in 2015 with a very ambitious plan of capital investment to basically transform all those indicators which weren't in our favour. And the city deal is basically one element of trying to deliver on that. There's a number of massive projects that are ongoing alongside that, and I've just put a few of them on the screen there for you. So obviously the A6 dual carriageway to Belfast is developing as we speak. We can see there the new plans for Fort George with a £60 million health hub. That's another significant regeneration project in the city. Council is investing significantly in parks and greenways and community centres, and one of the projects there is the new multimodal transport hub, which has just opened. And also importantly, through the COVID pandemic, we've been able to remain connected via our airport to London, and we've recently had the news that the PSO has been funded for a further 2 years until March 23. So again, very exciting developments. So I'm hopefully going to finish off now by handing over to Gary to play the video that we used for our Heads of Terms launch on the 24th of February. Really what it shows is all the stakeholders are totally aligned behind this plan, and you'll see commentary here from each of the stakeholders. So I'll hand over to Gary now to play that, and thank you.
The signing of the Heads of Terms for the Derry-Strabane City Deal marks a significant step forward in the progression of the city industry.
City Deal will be transformational for the city region. It's the single biggest investment in the city region, in its infrastructure, in its capacity to attract foreign investment, in our capacity to enhance the learning, the health and indeed the economic outcomes for the city region. And Ulster University is delighted to play such an integral role in its delivery.
The facilities which we will put in place for the Sidra and Carl innovation projects will be of enormous benefit to local industry as they seek to implement digital technologies in their organisations.
Very importantly, it's going to create opportunities for employment, for foreign direct investment, and really to give young people in the city the opportunity to build their careers here in the Northwest.
And with employment comes good health. This cannot be understated as an important, if not to say vital, development for the city, and one which everybody should see as immensely exciting.
These initiatives will make a huge difference to the sustainability and quality of care for our local population, and will ensure that we can attract and retain the highest quality of workforce to serve our needs.
In addition, the Trust will work with our partners in securing the appropriate on-site facilities at Altony Galvin Hospital to complement the funding secured for Ulster University's Graduate Entry Medical School on-site teaching facilities, together with research facilities to be developed at Seatrick as part of the Thrive initiative.
And the City Deal is going to be a major cash injection for the region. It's going to attract new business, it's going to attract new people here to live and to work, which is just fantastic. So we welcome it as members, we welcome it as a chamber, and we really believe this is a really positive injection that the region needs for the future.
This investment will be felt right throughout Derry City, Strabane, and right across the region. It is indeed a momentous day for the area, and we're very proud to be part of it.
This fantastic investment opens great opportunities for so many people. The chances of new industry coming to our city, revitalising our city centre, all the work that could be done along the riverfront will bring this city to where it should be, the pivotal point in Ireland for people to come and visit.
So linking innovation and infrastructure is something that we are absolutely committed to doing, and we look forward to work with the city stakeholders in going beyond these heads of terms to seeing delivery on the ground in such an important aspect of development in the region.
In the Northwest Regional College, we are committed to building the skills of the people in our city and district. These programmes will help do that. We're also within this piece, as well as supporting the innovation projects, we'll be working around very bespoke skills. And to that end, we hope to be able to progress a piece of work in the Strabane Canal Basin.
Our young people are incredibly proud to be a part of this city. The investment here really is going to make a difference to them because it's going to provide them the opportunities to be able to stay and work in the city that they love.
This is a massive injection for the tourism industry, and that will regenerate the city district. And the City Deal project has a number of important tourism strands that will support the tourism economy of the future. The development of the Walled City Experience project and the Digital DNA Maritime Museum, not to mention our digital capacity, will all support the regeneration of the city and grow our tourism economy for the future.
I think it's a very, very exciting time for everyone, and I would like to thank all of our partners who have worked so hard with us and in partnership with us to develop the package that we have got and the package that we have presented to the government for this funding.
The signing of the heads of terms is the start of an amazing journey for our city and region for years to come.
Great, thank you. That was fantastic. Some really exciting things going on there. So I'm just going to turn to a few questions that are coming through here. So maybe just to start off with you, Dawn. You mentioned a connection with Letterkenny. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, I can, and I see Philip has asked the same question in the chat box there as well about the region. When I talked about that, I did talk about the expanded Northwest City region, which takes in, as I say, from Strabane through the city into Donegal, and we all see it as vitally important to look at that expanded area. Both the council and chamber separately went about establishing memorandums of understanding with the council and we with Letterkenny Chamber as well, because we believe we're inextricably linked. The border for us is only a line in the road. Our members, families, businesses cross the border every day of the week. That's in normal times anyway. But we believe a win for one is a win for us all, and we are passionate about supporting our members and helping the region as a whole to prosper. I believe there's strength and synergy in us working together, and we are a strong voice lobbying both governments, and we have been doing that over a number of months. Another exciting thing with the Letterkenny Chamber as well, what we have decided to do was, what we found was there was an awful lot of data on both sides of the border, but it seemed to stop at the border. And when we looked at it, we decided to do a project to get that information flowing on both sides. So Letterkenny and Magee are now actually working together on a master's project. We are interviewing at the minute for a student to do the research on clusters. They are going to, they obviously have to refine it to something manageable. So they're going to look at the fintech sector, but we believe that whatever best practice comes out of that can be then applied to all other clusters. And that information will flow through to us over the 2-year period. And we believe that that will strengthen our fight with governments to support the region and to support our members.
That's great, Dawn. You also mentioned there's a learning platform available to current chamber members, is that correct?
Yeah, that was an exciting thing that we did this year to support our members, given that things were so tight and so bad. And for the chartered accountants, the smaller practices, I suppose, would I think benefit from it greatly. We did a soft launch, and what we're trying to do now is encourage everybody else to register with us and get on the platform and use it for their staff. So yeah, please register, please contact Chamber and register for that.
That's great. Thanks, Dawn. Claire, if I turn to you, as a CAA training firm, can you please confirm that I understood correctly that students at Ulster University Magee can now study the CAP 2 level in an MSc locally in the Northwest? Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. Yes, that is the case now from September 2021. We have a new Masters in International Accounting with Analytics, which will take students right to Cap 2 level locally. And that means then, as you know yourself, may have only 2 exams now at final admitment stage with chartered. So yes, that's a new innovation coming this year for students.
That's a great development in Magee, isn't it? And regarding student numbers on the Magee campus, is there any update on the 10,000 student number target?
Well, I suppose I know our Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul Bartholomew, did or give a presentation to the local council there in the last few months, particularly around that issue of getting to 10,000 figures. And I suppose I just have to go with what he said at that was that under current funding arrangements, we can get to 6,000. But however, it'll take you know, the Northern Ireland Executive and funding changes to get to the 10,000. So that. But I saw Alfie's slide there talking about up to 5,500 with.
Yeah. That's great, thank you. Jason, if I turn to you then, I've just a question in here saying, can accountants or others become smart volunteers, or do you need to be from a tech background or youth?
Short answer, yes. I think, well, obviously I'm biased, but I think accountants have an incredible skill set to bring to something like this. But what I would say, I suppose, is that diversity of thought and diversity of experience is incredibly important in an initiative like this. So the more people we get from a wider diverse background, the better. So we're pretty well covered in terms of youth and people who are involved in tech, and actually probably where the gap is from those sort of sectors like accounting, where it would be great if more people would get involved. So yeah, short answer, yep, anybody can.
Okay, and the smart city side of things, would there be any privacy concerns, do you think, on the smart cities initiative and the use of their data?
I think that's always a concern. That's always the first sort of piece of reluctance that the people have whenever they hear about using of data. So, I mean, I guess when I talk about education, it's as much educating people on how to be sensible with their data as well, you know, so that people are giving away, for want of a better phrase, data that is useful to improve their lives and not just selling on their data for something useless, because you know, data used in the right way can be incredibly powerful in terms of improving people's lives. So it's about getting that message out. And yeah, it is a hurdle to overcome. Sometimes people are very reluctant to share any data. I was speaking to somebody recently that doesn't like putting their name on anything, you know, so that's what you're up against. But I understand the concern. But yeah, if it's used in the right way, then it's a positive.
Yeah, and this is probably linked as well, but I'm not speaking about myself here, or maybe I am, but is it likely to cause confusion about some technophobe citizens amongst us or in Derry itself, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably likely, if you don't manage it right, to create a sort of I mean, we don't want to use the generational term, but a generational divide where you've got younger people who by and large are very comfortable in the use of technology, very comfortable in what their data can do. So back to the education thing again, it's about trying to bring everybody along rather than just focusing initiatives on just young people and saying, right, well, this is what the future looks like. You have to bring all sides of the community along.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Alfie, I just have a question in here. We're getting some momentum in Derry without a doubt. However, Cork has a 1.8 billion 10-year investment plan, 4,000 school of business places versus Derry's 250 million city deal and 120 med school places. How can we build on what we've achieved to date, and what is really needed to leapfrog this city and region towards much bigger numbers and growth, do you think?
Thank you. I suppose it's back to the plan we set out with in 2015. As I said at the end of my presentation, the city deal is a small element of what we're trying to achieve here. We know the investment required. We've done a massive consultation and engagement process back in 2015 with all our stakeholders, and we identified all the projects that have to be delivered in this city region to get our indicators basically above all the averages, and that figure is 3.4 billion of capital expenditure. So it includes roads, it includes housing, all that stuff. So there's been lots of things have happened, but there are lots of things still to happen. So we as a council, you know, through all the avenues are focused on trying to bridge that gap. You know, we're doing peace fund applications, leveling up fund applications. I see a comment in there about the cross-border. we're inevitably a cross-border city region. If we were anywhere else in the UK, that's how our city deal portion would have been, calculated. But we faced that challenge. Through that work, we set up a partnership with Donegal County Council. It's called the Northwest Strategic Growth Partnership, and through that, there's a lot of liaison with the Irish government for investment. A lot of our assets, such as our hospital, our university, our Northwest Regional College, our airport, all have a clear benefit unto Donegal. So we're in continual talks through that relationship with Donegal County Council and trying to secure Irish investment towards those facilities as well. So it's an ongoing journey, and we'll keep at it, but our aspiration is to secure what we set out to secure by 2032, and hopefully we can get there, and this is certainly one component of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sounds like there's exciting times ahead anyway. I'm afraid we've run out of time, so I'd like to just have to close off there. Hopefully we got through most of your questions there. I just want to say a massive thank you to our speakers, Claire Scott McAteer, Alfie Dallas, Jason McIntosh and Dawn McLaughlin for taking the time out of their busy schedule today. And thanks to everyone who's joined us for today's webinar. We'll all be keeping a keen eye on what's happening in the Northwest as all these initiatives progress. Thanks for joining us today, and have a fantastic day. Thanks, everyone.